Hello and welcome, Knicks Digest fans. It's your boy Dariel. Your boy Dariel is going solo right now. Chris, unfortunately, is not able to be here today for our Knicks happy hour, and Matt as well is not able to be here for happy hour. But I am more than happy to be the host of today's happy hour. So I want to say thank you so much for joining the live today, and let's get into it, man. Let's get into it because Giannis had said some things that has kind of not really surprised Knicks fans or just basketball fans, but I mean, when you take a look at Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks. Oh, also I should mention, if you guys have any questions, make sure to drop it in the chat, and I'll try and get to the chat in between my little rants. So please drop the questions in the chat, and I'll try and get to them. But Giannis, Kirk Goldsberry was actually on Bill Simmons' podcast recently, and they were talking about Giannis, and they were talking about just like disgruntled players. And Kirk Goldsberry, on the Giannis Trade Whispers, had this to say. He said that Giannis said, "I hate trade demand gossip, but that intel is out there. I think there's a world where he's the next big domino to drop." I mean, I think Giannis, the little feelers that have been put out there, I think Giannis wants to come to the Knicks, but the thing is that the Knicks, we kind of don't really have any assets to get a big name player. What was it, 5 first-round picks that we gave up for Mikal Bridges? What do we have that Milwaukee would want? Mitchell Robinson is an injury-prone player. We all know that. We're not going to give up Brunson. Randall and Dante, we already gave up. At this point, I don't really know what we're able to give up to get Giannis. I don't know, man. Like, that's great. Giannis, Milwaukee Bucks are 1-4 now after a great start. And Giannis, of course, he's top 3 in the NBA. But first and foremost, like, I'm under the opinion that we should have never traded Julius. I think we should have tried to see, at least give him half a season. Give him half a season with the core of Dante, the Villanova core, man. The Villanova core, see if Julius Randle was going to be able to fit. And then, if not, then make a move at the trade deadline. But obviously, Dante rumors, even though the rumors have been completely just verified that it was false, I don't know. There might be some merit to it. You know, Dante, the type of season that he had last year. And now he's gonna come out, and down this season he would have been coming off the bench, I believe. There's just a lot, man. There's just a lot of stuff that we gotta like sift through. But going back to the whole Giannis thing, like what I'm trying to say is we've already made enough moves, and I don't want this to feel like the early 2000s Knicks, where it's like, oh, this player is available. Let's give up everything we have for this player. And he's kind of like at the back end of his career. There's countless examples that I can point to. And at this point, we have Cat, we got Jalen Brunson, we got our 2 cornerstone pieces for the franchise. Like, let's just roll with that. And speaking of Cat, man, I wasn't able to do a post-game show on Monday against Cleveland, and I wasn't able to do a post-game show on Friday against Miami when Cat blew up for 44 points. Your boy was working, so sorry I wasn't able to do it, but Chris was holding it down for all of us. But I do want to talk about those games. Monday, we know that Cat, he attempted, 8 shots, and the New York media and just basketball fans, we were kind of getting on his back. And then Jalen Brunson had that quote talking about it's kind of on him that he wasn't able to get Cat the looks that he wanted. Cat finished with 13 points, 4 of 8 from the field, and 1 of 2 from 3-point line. So Jalen Brunson with a quote saying that it was his fault that he couldn't get Cat more initiated into the offense. And I want to give my 2 cents about that. First and foremost, like, if you're one of the better players in the league, I 100% believe that you need to ask for the ball. Ask for the ball, and you, especially Cat, like, you're with today's NBA landscape, with the way the defenses are working, it's like everything is a switch. So more oftentimes than not, Cat is going to be switched on to somebody that he's going to have a mismatch on, and you're not demanding the ball in the post or just demanding the ball on period. So, like, I get it. Jalen Brunson took one for the team. He's trying to take the heat off Cat, and I understand that. But in my opinion, like, if you're one of the better players on the team right now, Jalen Brunson is the best player on the team, but Cat is right behind him. There's no question about that. So you being the second best player on the team, like, you need to demand the ball whenever you want it. Don't And there's also the fact that Cat this is a brand new thing for him. This is the first time he's ever been traded or he signed to a new team. So I get it. He doesn't want to like rock the boat. He doesn't want to ruffle any feathers. He's just going with the offense, going with the flow. And I understand that. But the season started and we need wins. We need to rack them up as much as possible. And that Cleveland game could have easily been a W. So that was on Monday's game. So Wednesday, obviously, Cat blew up and 44 points. Give me a second. I got to get the numbers here. 44 points. He was 17 of 25 from the field, 68%, 4 of 5 from three-point land, 80%. So speaking of Wednesday's game, what are my 2 cents about Cat? I did like what I saw from Cat. One thing that popped out to me was the amount of three-pointers. 5 3-pointers, 4 or 5. Again, Cat has always said he basically proclaimed himself as the best big man shooting three of all time, which is kind of weird to proclaim yourself that, but whatever. Statistically, he's right. But what I saw from Cat in that game was what I want to see. I want to see Cat mix it up. There was time and time again where he was down in the post. He had a baby hook with his left hand. With his right hand, he took Bam Adebayo off the dribble from the top of the key. I do like what I saw from Cat, but we should not be expecting that every night from Cat. Right now, he is our only big man that we have available, which is putting him in a tough spot because being the starting 5 and really the only good 5 that we have on our team, like he's the last line of defense. And he's already started the season with foul trouble. And I'm one of the people that gives a lot of flack to Cat, but as of right now, just the position that he's in, man, it's rough, man. Because when someone beats their man off the dribble at the perimeter, the big man is the first line of defense or the last line of defense, whichever way we want to look at it. So Cat is in a bad spot because he's going to be put in a position where he's going to get fouled. He's going to get fouls and he's going to be in foul trouble. And then we got Jericho Sims or we got Ariel Huckporty coming off the bench. Oh, I should also mention on Monday, Coach Tibbs tried out Ariel Huckporty as the first big man off the bench. Jericho Sims was the first big man off the bench to start that game, but I think it might have been like in the second quarter or maybe even was in the second half. Ariel Huckporty was the first big man coming off the bench, and Ariel Huckporty had a great dunk. Excuse me. He had a poster, but it was waved off because of the offensive foul. And if you guys remember, if you guys checked out my video on Monday, what I put out super early in the morning, that video was talking about maybe giving Ariel Huckporty the chance of being the first big man off the bench. And Wednesday against Miami, it went back. Coach Tibbs reverted back to his usual self. He went back to Jericho Sims. But I think, man, from what I saw from Ariel Huckporty, I think we should give Ariel Huckporty a real shot as the first big man coming off the bench, man. I think he's going to be able to add more value to the team. Jericho Sims is just, he's my guy, man. I like him, but it's just what is he capable of? Right now, he's just running around with just setting screens, and I get it. Every player has a specific role on their team, and if they play their role to the best ability, then they're going to make that team great. I understand that. But right now, we need a little bit more from everybody. And Ariel Huckporty, I believe, is going to be able to give us something that neither one of us were expecting. Not either of us. Not any of the Knicks fans were expecting. So giving Ariel Huckporty the shot, maybe in tonight's game, we'll see. In Detroit. Also, guys, right now it's 6:15 Eastern time, 3:15 my time. So I'm going to be going for like another 40, 45 minutes up until game time. And then I'm going to call it a wrap so we can check out the game. But going back to the Miami game on Wednesday with Cat, I do like what I saw. Hopefully, Cat has found himself in a little bit of a groove, and we get to see Cat play more like the way he did on Wednesday. 5 3-pointers, 4 or 5 from three-point land. I like that number 5, but in today's NBA landscape, I don't know if we should be expecting that from Cat. If anything, he's probably going to, as the season prolongs, he's going to bump that number up. It's going to go from 5 to 8 to 10. Hopefully it stays within the 5 to 8 range because that's the number. I think that's the sweet spot for Cat. If he could find a way to mix up the game and go for 5 to 8 3-pointers a game while also attacking the glass, while also putting the ball on the floor, while also getting post-ups, I think that is what Cat needs to do. He needs to find a really good balance of behind the perimeter, behind the 3-point line, and also just dominating in the paint. 17 of 25, so he obviously just completely answered the bell after shooting eight times on Monday's game. He shot 25 times on Wednesday, and I wonder if Cat is feeling the media pressure from New York, because I think Monday probably is the very first time where the New York media or just the New York fans in general were able to like really get on his back about something. And I wonder if he really felt it, and if he was like, "Oh, this is what the New York media is like. Like, yo, let me try and shut everybody up real quick and show them that like I'm actually a really good player." So we'll see about that. But I want to go into the comments. I want to see if you guys have any questions. If you guys want to, if there's any questions in there that I can answer. So let's see. You guys are funny. Some of the comments that I see are pretty funny. I'm going through the chat right now to see if there's a question that I can answer. What about Deuce? What about Deuce? This wasn't a question in the chat, but I did see someone bring up Deuce McBride. RA, shout out to you, RA. His comment was Josh Hart, Deuce McBride, and Mitchell Robinson, and Jericho Sims to try and get Giannis. The whole, again, like I was talking about in the beginning of the video with Giannis, man, let's just steer away, man. Yeah, Giannis is top 3 player in the NBA right now, top 3 player in the world. But I don't know, man. I've never really been a huge fan of Giannis. Like, he was the best player in the NBA by default because he won the championship, because he got the numbers. But what about Giannis screams basketball player? I want you guys to answer that. Give me one specific skill that Giannis has that's going to put your organization over the top. Aggressiveness doesn't count. Motor doesn't count. He doesn't really have a basketball IQ. So what is a skill that Giannis has? He hasn't been able to develop a consistent jump shot. He literally, his offense is literally putting his head down and just dunking on everybody, which of course I like that. Everybody loves that, but we see time and time again that when the playoffs come around, there's a defense for that. And Giannis's championship ring, I'm not taking anything away from that, but you can also bring up some reasons as to why they won that championship. They were about to get eliminated by the Brooklyn Nets, but Kyrie went down with an injury. James Harden was playing with a messed up hamstring at the time, I believe. There's just like, I don't know, man. Giannis, to me, is like, I want my best player on the team to have some sort of skill that I can point to and be like, he is the best, or he is one of the best at this. And as far as right now, he doesn't have that skill. He doesn't have that skill. And Jalen Brunson, we can point to Jalen Brunson. His footwork is immaculate. Mid-range, put the ball on the floor, drawing fouls. Like, to me, Giannis doesn't have anything, man, that I would really want him to be the best player on my team. Now, that might sound crazy. You guys might call me crazy in the chat, which is cool, but that's just how I feel. I'm going to get back to Deuce in a second, but I want to see if anybody answered that question. Francisco Gregory, shout out to you, Francisco Gregory. You said defense. I believe Giannis has a Defensive Player of the Year award, but we also got to take a look at his age. You know, he might be like early 30s right now. He might be 30 or 31, or maybe even 32. I'm not sure his age, but all right, maybe defense I can point to. Maybe defense might be one. RA said that he has a championship ring and the mental. That doesn't really point to a specific skill. I need a specific skill. RA again says his defense. The ball don't lie. He said dominant. Yeah, a lot of you guys like Giannis. Giannis is 29. Thank you so much. Knicks clears Celtics. Appreciate that. Okay, so he's just under 30. But a lot of you guys, you're not giving me a specific skill for Giannis. You guys are mentioning, like, defense. I mean, defense, you can... there's, like, time and time again I can point to examples where players in the NBA are saying, like, defense is just energy. Like, if you're going to give some sort of energy for the defense, then you're going to be a good defender. So, I appreciate defense. I'm not saying that it's not a skill, but you got to give me more than that. You got to give me more than just defense. Francisco Gregory, Euro step. Cool. He's going to Euro step every single time he has the ball. Knicks clear Celtics. Again, salute. He gets to the line a lot. Okay, cool. He gets to the free throw line. But do we trust him at the free throw line? Do we trust him in the fourth quarter of a playoff series with a minute left to go and the game is tied, or his team is down 1 and Giannis at the line? I don't trust him. Maybe 50%? Maybe. And that's me being generous. But guys, you guys can keep talking about Giannis in the chat, and I'll try to get to the questions, or try to get to whatever you guys say in the chat. But what I said a little bit earlier, I talked about Deuce, and the last time I put out a video regarding Deuce, it was after the Knicks season debut against the Celtics, where I think he had 22 points, and Deuce was actually the most impressive on that team. He's kind of had I don't want to say he's had a little bit of a letdown, because on Wednesday against Miami Heat, he had 10 points. He was 3 of 8 from the field. He was 2 of 5 from three-point land. So it's not a bad game. But Deuce had a moment in the game where I think he got the outlet pass, and from half court, he did an in-and-out dribble, and then he dunked it on, I think it was Duncan Robinson. I wasn't expecting that. And these are the little things that I'm seeing from Deuce that is just I don't want to say he's a completely different player from last year, but drop a comment in the chat if you guys see what I see about Deuce. Deuce seems like he's playing with a different type of confidence this year. Maybe Coach Tibbs had a conversation with him and going into the season, saying that, like, yo, you sort of have the green light, because Deuce doesn't have a complete green light, but he has maybe like a 50% green light. Whereas, like, if you have the shot, take it. Obviously, don't. I was going to say, if there's a 3-on-1 fast break, don't pull up for 3, but that's actually a good shot in today's NBA landscape. So I'll put that to the side. But Deuce, man, like, I think Deuce is going to be a very important part. If Deuce keeps playing with this type of confidence, I like what I see from Deuce, man, because last year I saw Deuce play, but it looked like Deuce was playing to not make a mistake. And I hate when I see that from players. If you're going to be put in the game, try to make an impact on the game. Whether if it's defense, whether if it's offense, whether if it's hustle plays, whether if it's energy, whatever you can do, try to make an impact on the team. And Deuce, I think Deuce is going to take a next step this year. And I'm looking at our bench right now, man. Our bench right now, Precious Achiuwa aside, because I think he's still out with the hamstring. I haven't seen any reports that he might play today or coming or soon. But our bench right now, we got Deuce, we got Jericho Sims, we got Cam Payne, obviously Tyler Kolek, but he's a rookie, so he's not going to get a lot of run. Ariel Hukporty, Cam Payne, Deuce, Jericho Sims, and Ariel Hukporty. Those are the ones that are getting the most rotation. Yo, who are we getting offense from that bench? I mean, I know Cam Payne was one of, if not the biggest reason why we signed him. But Cam Payne on Wednesday, he had no points. He was 0 of 1 from the field, and he was 0 of 1 from three-point line. And if you guys have watched my video, I've said time and time again, Cam Payne, he's a Knick, so I'm going to be rooting for a guy. He has that Knicks jersey on, so let's go Cam Payne. But if I'm going to take my emotions out of it, do I trust Cam Payne? Do I trust Cam Payne in the playoffs? No. I'm actually leaning more towards Deuce, and this is why Deuce is impressing me, because right now I'm a little surprised at myself. I didn't think Deuce was gonna get to this point with me. I didn't think I was gonna have this type of confidence in Deuce, but just the confidence that he's playing with, like, I'm very impressed, and hopefully he keeps it up. Hopefully nothing really like derails it, and Coach Tibbs doesn't take his confidence away, because we need some productivity off the bench. And right now, Jericho Sims is not going to do it. Ariel Hukporty, hopefully he gets more minutes, because the highlights I've seen of him, like, he has a big man game. He has a post game. He could, like, I don't want to say he has handles. He definitely can't put it on the floor from the 3-point line. But we can get more offense out of him than Jericho Sims. So We need some sort of productivity off of the bench, and that's where Deuce comes in. Just going back to the games this week, Deuce on Monday against Cleveland had 14 points, 6 of 12 from the field, and 2 of 6 from three-point land. Campaign had 6 points. He was 2 of 7 from the field. He was 2 of 3 from three-point line. So, oh man, it's looking like Campaign and Deuce, man. Right now, that's gonna be the offense coming off the bench. So we'll see what happens with that. Before I forget, I'm gonna go back into the comments, see if there's any questions that you guys want me to answer. But before I go back into the comments and before I forget, I want to talk about one thing that I absolutely hate when I watch these games. It's regarding the big men, Jericho Sims and Ariel Hukporti. Me being a former basketball player, I will never understand how you don't look at the rim when you catch the ball. Jericho Sims and Ariel Hukporti, whenever Coach Tibbs calls the play that he wants to be run, Ariel Hukporti or Jericho Sims, they catch the ball at the top of the key and they do a DHO and they set a pick at the same time and they roll to the basket. But my gripe with that is when you catch the ball, like, why don't you look at the rim? Look at the rim. Time and time again, when they run these plays and they're about to do a DHO, the defender is already overplaying it. He already knows the play. So why don't you fake the DHO and just drive to the rim and dunk it? I think it was somebody on the Lakers I saw the other night. Maybe it was Dalton Connect that I saw where he faked the DHO with Austin Reeves. And he just went, it was a clear path down the lane and it was a two-hand dunk. And Jericho Sims and Ariel Hukporti, these are like easy 2 points that you can converge on that would help you make an impact on the team, that would help you gain trust from Coach Tibbs. Oh, I also want to give a huge shout out to Deuce because No, and it wasn't on Monday. I think it was last week. I forgot against what team. Maybe it was the Wizards. I'm not sure. But I'm getting my games mixed up. But there was that the mic'd up session where Deuce gave Ariel Hukporti some advice, and he was like, "Yo, it doesn't matter what time in the game it is. If it's 2 seconds left in the fourth quarter, if it's 30 seconds left, if it's 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, play hard for however minutes you're gonna be out here because that's how you gain the trust of Coach Tibbs." And just again, salute to Deuce because I just love seeing that. I love seeing just guys like, yo, just trying to like get their guys going. It's like, just keep going. Like, keep going. I know it's hard and you're not getting a lot of minutes and you don't know where your minutes are coming from. And I've been in that position before. So just keep going and eventually something's going to stick. So shout out to Deuce again because that moment was awesome. But going back to Jericho Sims and Ariel Hukporti and just any big man in the league, like my thought process when I played was whenever I caught the ball, I'm looking at the rim. My first thought when I get the ball is I'm looking at the rim and I'm looking to score, whether that's a shot, whether that's putting the ball on the floor. I just don't understand. Like, sometimes I watch these games and it's like a little robotic, and I'm just like, dude, like if you think like a basketball player. And man, I don't want to sound like I'm sending out shots, but even though I'm not sending out shots, and those are our guys, I'm gonna ride or die for Jericho Sims and Ariel Hukporti, anybody with the Knicks jersey. But yo, man, I'm just seeing these little things when I'm watching the game, and I'm like, that's an easy 2 points right there. That's an easy 2 points for Jericho Sims, which he needs badly because there are moments where he's just running around like a chicken with his head cut off. I'm like, dude, come on, bro, you got to use athleticism for something. All right, so let me go back into the chat. Let me see if anybody has any questions that I can get to. Let's see. Sorry for the moment of silence. I'm just trying to see if there's anything I can go if anything I could go off of. You guys are still talking about Giannis. Charlie Knicks. Shout out Charlie Knicks. Knicks do well staying aggressive and pushing the ball on offense. Besides Cat against Miami, someone who isn't mentioned is Hart. Josh Hart. Josh Hart's game against Miami was huge for us on many plays. Shout out to Charlie Knicks because 100% Josh Hart against the Miami Heat was definitely a big reason why we caught that W. Yo, Josh Hart might be the best rebounding guard that I've ever seen in my life. Like, I think at the half of that game, he ended up with 10 rebounds. And he ended the game with 14 rebounds, 10 points, 4 of 7 from the field, 2 of 5 from three-point line. Like, Josh Hart is one of those players that, like, you know that he's good at a little bit of everything. He could score, when you see the rotation of a swing from the baseline to Josh Hart at the top of the key and he's wide open, you're like, yeah, he could hit that, but I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't. But then, just like last season in the first round against the Philadelphia 76ers, with Josh Hart, he had that game clinching, I forgot what game it was, but he hit a three-pointer. And it was like Josh Hart just rises to the moments whenever like the moments get bigger. So shout out to Josh Hart and Charlie Knicks. Such a good call out, man. Josh Hart is such an integral part of our team. Like I don't know where we would be without him. I'm going back to the chat to see if anything's I could any questions that I can go off of. Charlie Knicks again. Are you confident with Mitch remaining on this Knicks squad by playoffs? I believe Mitch would be a key piece against Boston specifically and Cavs. Charlie Knicks, am I confident with Mitch remaining on this Knicks squad by the playoffs? I don't know if I'm confident, honestly, man, because I don't know, man. I'm thinking about it because when Mitch comes back, then Cat's going to be put at his natural position to 4, and he's going to have a little bit more of an advantage there. And then on top of that, Mitch is like just is injury prone, man. Like we don't know if Mitch is going to last. Like to answer your question, am I confident? No, I'm not confident. But do I think it's going to happen? Do I think it's likely? Yes. So I think Mitch is going to be with the team for the rest of the season whenever he comes back. Am I confident in that? No. But we got to wait and see, man. We got to wait and see because, you know, Mitch. Let's see. Knicks clear Celtics. Your question is, do I predict any of the rookies will play in playoff games? The answer to that is absolutely not, barring any catastrophic injuries. So Jalen Brunson would actually, you know what, based off our playoff run last year where everybody was just hurt, then if Tyler Kolek was on the team last year, he definitely would have gotten minutes. But this upcoming season, hopefully, knock on wood, I got some wood on the floor, so sorry if I was out of frame for a little bit. But hopefully this season we don't have a repeat of last year where everybody was just hurt. But Tyler Kolek, I don't think he's going to get any minutes in the playoffs at all. Shout out to Carl. Carl asked me, how do I feel about Matt Ryan potentially coming to the team? Yeah, I saw that. I saw that report earlier in the week, or it was last week. Chris put out a video on it. Matt Ryan, I think he's with the Pelicans right now. The only thing I know about Matt Ryan, he was with the Lakers, I believe, was it 2 seasons ago, where he started off on the Lakers and he hit that like game-tying three-pointer at the buzzer where it sent the game to overtime. I remember that because that moment was pretty cool. But then Lakers let him go, and I think that's how he ended up with the Pelicans. The only thing I know is that he's a floor spacer. He could definitely hit that three. But other than that, I don't really know where his skills lie. Even if we get Matt Ryan, like it's not a guaranteed offensive boost off the bench. Like I'm not sure. I don't really know a lot about him. And I don't know exactly. I know for the G League draft, we drafted Shaman and Matt Ryan to keep him in the stash. I know that much. But other than that, I'm not too privy on Matt Ryan, so I can't really answer that. Let's see. You guys are coming in with some questions. Thank you so much. Let's see. Knicks clear Celtics. Thank you very much. Matt Ryan's with the Westchester Knicks. Appreciate that. RA. Precious could use a few more minutes off the bench in some crucial time. Man, you guys know my feeling about Precious. I'm not a big fan. Yeah, he can hit the three, but can he catch a ball? So now that I'm actually on live with you guys have seen my Precious take on videos all the time. But I want to know, are you guys confident in Precious? When Precious comes back, he's going to be the first big man off the bench. And then Jericho Sims, ideally, is going to be backing up Precious. So are you guys confident in Precious backing up Cat? Talk to me in the chat. Answer that question. Shout out to Charlie Knicks. Okay, so Knicks clear Celtics. You said that you are confident in Precious backing up uh Cat right now, and then it'll be Mitchell Robinson whenever he comes back healthy. My God. Joseph Holly, you're in agreement with me. You said no, you're not confident in Achiuwa. Knicks clear Celtics. The reason why you're confident in Precious is because he's an elite rebounder and defender. Elite, elite. That's a strong word. Elite. I don't know about elite. I might have to edit. You might have to edit that one out. My Holy King. You said Precious is okay. Fire Blazing Media. Shout out to you. You said Precious is a dog. I don't think you can consider Precious a dog. Dogs are Jimmy Butler's. Dogs are Patrick Beverly's. Those are dogs. Guys that don't care about anything. And I don't think Precious is a dog. Absolutely not. DMore914. Shout out to you. You said, yeah, kinda. So you're kind of confident with Precious. J Rose 712. Shout out to you. If Hukporty steps up, I prefer Hukporty to be our backup 5 and Precious to be our backup 4 behind OG. Yeah, man. J Rose. I mean, I'm more of a Hukporty guy. Another thing about Hukporty, if you guys saw that video that I put out, yo, Hukporty is giving me some Amari Stoudemire vibes. What I mean by that is when he sets the pick and whenever he rolls, like there are a couple examples where he's put people on posters. In the preseason, I think it was the Charlotte Hornets or the Washington Wizards. He might have had one or two. And then on Monday, where he had that dunk on Evan Mobley, but it was called an offensive foul. And the highlights that I've seen him play in the Australian League, Melbourne United, I believe the team he played for. Like I saw a lot of highlights where he was picking and rolling, and he was just dunking on everybody. So Ariel Hukporty, like I don't know if he's, to me he was sneaky athletic. I didn't think he had that kind of athleticism, but the highlights that I saw, and I saw him playing in the preseason, like he definitely snuck up on me. So that's my 2 cents about Ariel Hukporty. Joseph Holly, shout out. You said Josh Hart to back up Sims. Knicks clear Celtics. You're trying to be optimistic about Precious. I understand that. Jay Heisler, shout out to you. You said Jericho's providing defense and boards much better than Precious. Oh man, Jericho Sims. I'll get back to that. I'll get back to that. My Holy King, Jericho can't shoot. Yes, we all know that he cannot shoot. Jericho Sims is more of like a hustle player. The way he's gonna get his points is off of rebounds, off of not. I was gonna say dirty plays. Definitely not. That's not what I meant. Jericho Sims is gonna get his points off of hustle plays, is what I meant to say. And it's funny, we saw Jericho Sims work on his shot in the summer with Mike Bibby, those turnaround fadeaways. But like I said in the videos, like Coach Tibbs, he's not having that. So that's something else. Fat Poppy, no. Shout out to you. You said Precious over Jericho Sims. And Fire Blazing Media, Precious held it down last season where Julius Randle and OG were hurt. Did Precious hold it down, or Precious was the only one available? That's my question to you. Fire Blazing Media, Sims is garbage. Get him out of here. Noah Reyes said he doesn't want to see Jericho Sims nowhere near the court. Jay Hesler, be honest, why so much hate on Sims? I'm not hating, man. I'm not hating on Sims. I'm just saying, like, me personally, I just want if I was the coach on the Knicks, I'd want my players to be offensively aggressive every single time. I just want my players to have that mentality that you're going to score. And Jericho Sims, I don't know if he's still playing timid, which I don't know why. I don't know why he's playing to not make a mistake. Like at this point, like you're good, bro. Like just go out there and hoop. So it's not really hate. It's more just critiquing. I wish Jericho Sims would give us a little bit more. Jericho Sims, man. If somehow you come across this, bro. Like, dog, we need more of you, bro. We know you have it in you, bro. The athleticism is through the roof. Like, when you get a rebound, don't look to kick it back out to 3-point shot. When you get a rebound, go back up, bro. That's another thing. Thank you for this little rant that I'm going on because that reminded me of something else. Besides the whole catching the ball at the top of the key, faking a DHO, and then just giving it up to a guard, like Jericho Sims, I've seen against Miami and against Cleveland, like he gets good rebounds, good offensive rebounds. But instead of going back up, they're kicking it back to the 3 point line. Yo, I don't know what the hell is going on. Jericho Sims, please, bro. Get the rebound. Go back up, bro. Go back up. You need to get yours because that's, again, how you're going to build confidence with Coach Tibbs. And once you build that confidence with Coach Tibbs, he's going to put you out there more. Go back up, bro. Go back up. Finish the play. Knicks clear Celtics. You asked me, the question you just asked was, given Cleveland's hot start, are you worried they will beat us in the series? And you asked a question earlier talking about, is there anybody else in the East, yes, who are our biggest threat? I have somebody that plans on scoring officially, that being aggressive. Nah. Okay, so Knicks clear Celtics. To answer your question, so yo, when the season before the season started, I thought the Boston Celtics were the biggest threat. Um, Cleveland, I'm not worried about. It's still a long ways to go in the season. And Cleveland is like, okay, cool. It's a great regular season team. And then when the playoffs come, it's like, what do you guys do? And it's kind of interesting how Cleveland and Utah are being led by the same player, Donovan Mitchell. I'm not saying anything. I'm not trying to put any bad juju on Donovan Mitchell, but if he's going to be your best player, how far can you go with an organization? There's that. Cleveland, I'm not worried about. We got to see for the rest of the season to see how Evan Mobley's development. He looks like he developed a little bit more. It looks like he's being more aggressive. It looks like he's taking that mid-range jump shot, which I wanted him to do to expand his game. So kudos to Evan Mobley. But we got to see how the team looks for, give it at least 25, 30 games, and then I'll give you a better answer. But as far as our biggest threat in the East, man, honestly, I'm not even sure, bro. Before the season, I would have said the Boston Celtics. But after that season opening game and then seeing how the Boston Celtics have been playing, they just lost their first game a couple days ago against Indiana Pacers, where they came back, I think, from 20 down. Like, yo, the Boston Celtics, man, they look scary, bro. They look scary, and it's kind of scary how much of a gap there is from Boston Celtics and every other single Eastern Conference team. Like, that season opening game, I was like, okay, Boston had a really hot hand. You know, everybody was hitting the threes. If anybody played against them, Denver Nuggets, if anybody played against them, the best team in the NBA that wasn't the Boston Celtics, Dallas Mavericks, Minnesota Timberwolves, any team that played against them, Boston would have shot that way. Obviously, they would have got the W. But then in the games coming after that, I've seen them, they were 4-0, and then they lost in overtime to the Indiana Pacers. Like, yo, they've been killing it, bro. And that, I don't know what the hell we're going to do with the Boston Celtics. I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure. But the Boston Celtics are looking scary. So there's the answer to that. Yeah, I'm looking at the comments, and you guys, it looks like you guys are kind of agreeing with me that Cleveland, they're kind of looking And yo, the whole Donovan Mitchell thing, like when the whole Donovan Mitchell coming to the Knicks thing, like there were some people that wanted Donovan Mitchell here, some people didn't. I was one of the people that didn't. I didn't really see the upside. I see the upside. Perennial All-Star. You know, he's always in the conversation for top 10 to 12 player in the NBA. Playoff success, even though the type of success you can question it, but I just don't know what's the ceiling of a Donovan Mitchell led team, and we've seen it countless times. It's second round of the playoffs. He's been there maybe twice. Every other time I can think 2 or 3 times, but most of his career has been a first round exit first round exit. So Donovan Mitchell, I'm not sure I don't really think there's much to go by that. Knicks clear Celtics. What if Evan Mobley takes a leap and Darius Garland is an all-star like he was before? So Knicks clear Celtics. To answer your question about Evan Mobley and Darius Garland, I'm more worried about Evan Mobley, if anything. If Darius Garland also looks like he's back. Last season was a weird season for him. I mean, he had like a fractured jaw, so that definitely had to have some sort of impact on his game. But Evan Mobley, I think, is the X factor, and not even just against the Knicks. I think Evan Mobley is the X factor for the Eastern Conference, man, because I don't think anybody has an answer for him. The Boston Celtics, the Knicks, the Philadelphia 76ers, like Evan Mobley, I think, is the X factor, but he still has to make that leap. So we'll see. But as far as the Knicks, yeah, man, I'm still a little. I don't know, man. With this team, I've been up and down with the few games that we've seen from them. Um, it's really hard to say that like I'm fully confident in this team, yo. I just don't know about Cat. And we all know, man, Cat's gonna play good in the regular season. Like, cool, regular season, cool. You probably get an All Star nod, but what are you gonna do in the playoffs, bro? Are you gonna be that same Cat that like is not really stepping up to the plate like we need him to? Really being that second best player. Well, now in this case, second best player behind Jalen Brunson. That's my biggest question with Cat, man. Regular season, you're putting up these numbers, great. Kudos, you're gonna help us get W's. Like I love that. Of course, I want to see the Knicks being top four seed for we get that, so we could get that home court advantage in the playoffs. But the playoffs is when it counts, bro. Playoffs is when it counts, and we need you to step up. And I'm not sure if Cat's gonna be able to do that because of his just like weird stuff that he does, man. Can we talk about the weird fouls that he commits? Like this season, granted, okay, he's a big man, so him being in foul trouble is going to be a little bit more. He'll probably be in that position a little bit more, so I'll give him a little slack. But what about like the examples that I can point to when he was with the Minnesota Timberwolves? Just like really dumb fouls, being like away from the rim, and like it really starts to get me to question his basketball IQ. And I'm looking at the Knicks' upcoming schedule, so they're gonna play. They're playing the Detroit Pistons in what about 15 minutes. After Detroit, we're going to be at Houston. So the next 5 games. So we got Detroit, we got at Houston, we got at Atlanta. We're going to be home against Milwaukee, and then we're going to be on the road against the Pacers. So Detroit, we should get the W today. Houston's going to be a tough game. Atlanta's going to be a tough game. Milwaukee, that might be a guaranteed W, yo, because Milwaukee is looking crazy right now. Indiana's going to be a tough game. Let's see. So let's say Detroit win, Houston lost. That's 1-1. Let's say Atlanta's gonna go for a. We'll say we'll put a W. So we're 2-1. Milwaukee is a W. 3-1. Indiana, maybe 3-2. Maybe 3-2 in the next 5 games. And I'm gonna be really keeping my eye on Cat. Like I said earlier in the live, I'm gonna be keeping my eye on specifically the amount of 3-pointers that Cat attempts. In Wednesday's game, he took 5 or he took 8. I'm getting my numbers mixed up. I'm about to pull it up right now. He took 5 3-pointers. Oh, okay. He took 5 3-pointers, and if he takes anywhere from like 5 to 8, I'll be happy. That's why I got the 8 and 5 mixed up. So let's see if you guys have anything else in the chat. You guys are still talking about Donovan Mitchell and the whole Cleveland thing. My holy king, Cat will cripple in the playoffs. Sheesh. Knicks clear Celtics. Leon believes in Cat and Mikhail, so I believe in them. Leon is never wrong. Outlaw 24. If you see what Precious did in the playoffs, he did a good job against Joel Embiid. Yo, Outlaw 24. Joel Embiid was playing on one leg, literally, and he had a 50 ball on us. Arm and Hammer. We have a cast. Plus, we making a move again. Watch during the trade deadline, and also Mitch is coming back. Yeah, I mean, we're definitely going to be making a move at the trade deadline. I just don't know what it is. I think Precious, I think it's guaranteed that he's going to be included in the trade package. For what? I don't know if we're going to be targeting another. I don't know if we're going to be targeting like a Walker Kessler, who's been rumored to the Knicks for what? Since the summer? That'll be, if we pick up Walker Kessler to back up Mitch, now we got a conversation. But we got to wait and see, obviously. Federal Agent Debo Samuel. I might have just ratted you out, but that's your YouTube name, so I don't think I ratted you out. I think Cat has a great fit here. Could be. Federal Agent Debo, you said give Cat time. We've never had a big that can stretch the floor. That's a fact. We never had a big that can stretch the floor to Cat's ability. That's true, man. Kilpy, shout out to you. You said you'll give a real assessment of the team with about 25 to 30 games. And you said there are a lot of moving parts. HRM, the great Joel was fine. He continues to play with the national team. No excuses if you're out there. True. If you're out there, you're out there. You're playing. You make the decision to play. But we just can't hide the fact that you're still injured. And even in the Olympics, he still looked bummed. All the way up until the gold medal game. Joel Embiid didn't look like himself. Joel Embiid playing in the summer, that was actually I think that was the wrong decision. He should have definitely just sat his ass home and just healed. But whatever. I'm not Joel Embiid. My holy king, if the Knicks traded for Giannis, you would give up a lot. Yeah, we would have to give up a lot. And I don't want to be in the position to give up all of our great assets for Giannis. I'm good. Knicks clear Celtics. Do you think the Bucks are not going to be a threat this year? To be honest, I'm going to say no. But you just never know with Dame and Giannis. You have two top 75 players of all time. Like, talent is going to figure out to play. And if they never end up figuring it out how to play together, then it's a damn shame. Because I don't know, man. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's Doc being the coach. I don't know if it's Torian Prince, Gary Trent Jr., and they're just not meshing. Like, their team is not terrible. I know their perimeter defense is not great, but it's like they should not be 1-4 right now, or whatever their record is. Do I think they're a threat? I'm not even sure if I can say they'll make it to the playoffs. I'll say guaranteed play-in. With Dame and Giannis, it should be a guaranteed play-in, 7 through 10. But making the playoffs, I don't know. We also got a long ways to go for the season. Trades could happen. Coaches, docs could get fired because the Milwaukee Bucks, they've just been firing everybody. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, all right. So we're talking about Giannis. We're talking about Giannis a lot. All right. So I'm gonna be on the live for like another I don't know, close to 10 minutes, and then game's gonna start. But just to finish up with the whole Giannis stuff, so I started the live talking about Bill Simmons, and he had Kirk Goldsberry on his podcast, and Kirk Goldsberry was just talking about how Giannis, he thinks that Giannis is gonna be the next big domino to drop, which is basically the next superstar to be disgruntled with his team, and he's going to be asking out. And like I was saying earlier in the chat, like, what is a specific skill that Giannis has? Sorry to interrupt this little rant, but Stephen Bondi, I'm definitely late on this because this was posted an hour ago, but Karl Anthony Towns, a sprained wrist. He'll warm up with the intention of playing. But I just saw a video of Cat warming up. So it looks like he's going to play. And Stephen Bondi put out a tweet 16 minutes ago. Karl Anthony Towns is available and starting for the Knicks. Sweet. So he's going to play. Great. We don't want to start the season with injuries, obviously. Yeah, all right. So I'm gonna end it with this whole Giannis Antetokounmpo stuff. No. That's what I got for you guys. No. Dude, there's not a specific skill that we can point to with Giannis. The reason, like, he's the top three best player in the league, but like, it's interesting because none of that is based off his skill. Like, a lot of it is because of his, just what he does night in and night out. Like, he has an incredible motor. Just he plays in and night out. And besides these last two seasons, like, even with that, those two injuries were freak injuries. 2 years ago, he landed on his back very just abruptly and harshly. So that was just a freak accident. And then last season, he strained his calf 1 week before the playoffs. That was a freak accident. But like, Giannis doesn't have an injury prone stigma to him. But yo, man, I just want to do it, bro. I don't keep building with what we have, even with Karl Anthony Towns, man. Even with Karl Anthony Towns, let's keep building with him and Jalen Brunson. I don't want us to move off too fast off this. Mournful Nets fan. The Bucks aren't going to be a threat when they have both Doc and Darvin Ham. I'm crying. Knicks clear Celtics. Isn't motor a skill? Interesting question. Interesting question. HRM the Great. Yeah, his skill set don't age well without a shot. Motor a skill. I mean, I guess motor is a skill, and you hear that from like the commentators on the game, from the player. I think Stan Van Gundy has said that multiple times. Players have said that multiple times. So if the players and the coaches that played and coached in the NBA say that, then I guess you got to qualify it as a skill. Okay, so if motor is a skill, then what's another skill that he has? He can't put the ball on the floor. He doesn't have a consistent jump shot. We don't really talk about his basketball IQ. We don't really talk about his footwork. So, but guys, I think I'm gonna end it there. It is about to be 4 o'clock my time. I want to say thank you so much for pulling up to the live. This is the first live where I hosted solo. This is the first live where I hosted, period. And then this is the first live where I did solo. So I want to say thank you so much for joining me in the chat, dropping your questions, dropping me your statements, all that stuff. That way it made this live a little bit easier. So I really appreciate that. I'm going to be putting out a video for post game just about what I saw, some things that stuck out to me. Hopefully Cat has a big night. Hopefully Deuce has a big night. Hopefully Jericho Sims or Ariel Hukporty, either one of them, if they get good minutes, hopefully they make an impact on the game. I don't want to see them throw the ball after an offensive rebound, throwing it back behind the 3-point line. Dude, oh my God, just look at the basket first. Look at the basket first, guys. But guys, I want to say thank you so much for checking it out, and stay tuned for that video for post game for tonight's game. And until next time, I'll see you on the next live, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.